Before I begin, I do want to inform you that I go hard and real with what I'm about to say on this episode. If you cannot handle the truth, my sense of humor, sarcasm, and explicit language, then I advise you to not listen. This episode will contain words that may be triggering and may have graphic details, so listen per your description. Without further ado, sit back and enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of yours truly. It is I, your one and only host, Druelee, of course. I missed you guys so much. It's been a couple weeks since I've uploaded or have done a full episode, and I'm finally back, okay? But without further ado, if you guys haven't listened to my previous episode or my previous mini episode 8, I did make an announcement by saying that I want to invite, or I want you as my guest to be part of my episode. So make sure that you guys go back to that mini episode, take a listen. That way you guys know what to expect. But I'll just give you guys a little bit of details on this episode. But if you're interested in sharing your stories of what you've been through, it could be a good thing or bad thing, and what you learned and the outcome of it, please reach out to me. This would be a pre-recorded, I guess you could say an interview, a pre-recorded interview, meaning that there's not going to be any live videos. Our voices will be recorded, and that is where I'm going to, record and edit and post it up and make it into an episode. Feel free to reach out by emailing me at yourstruly@gmail.com, or you can message me via Facebook message. Now that is out of the way, let's get into the episode. So based on the title, you guys have seen that I'm going to be talking about not dwelling in the past. For those who have been a long-time supporter or who has been listening from the beginning, you guys know that I started this podcast talking about what I've been through in the past and the reason why I started this podcast. I've talked about my life as a married woman, as a girlfriend, as a divorcee, to now being a single woman, and all of the things that I dealt with when it came to being part of a church and being among American women. And overall, this whole podcast is the reason why I started is because of what I experienced in my past. Now I'm in the point in my life where, I have mentioned it in a couple of my episodes, to where I just don't want to talk about my past anymore. I don't want my past to define who I am as a person, although it is the reason why I am the person I am now today is because of what I've experienced. But at the same time, I'm just in the point of my life where I'm just done talking about it. I'm just done talking about the lost family, lost boy, people who treated me like shit, or people who did me wrong. Even though in the future, when I do talk about certain topics, eventually I will have to bring up the past and, use that as an example so that you as my listeners will know that, I've been through it. And so overall, I just don't want to talk about my past anymore. I don't want people to view me or see me as, the woman that talks shit about her in-laws, or the woman that still considers herself as a divorcee. Like, now I consider myself a single woman, even though I am a divorced woman, not legally, but culturally. Let's be more specific on that. But still, I just don't want to have that title, nor do I want to live that kind of life anymore. I just want to move forward. There was this TikTok video that I watched. I can't find the video anymore, but what I remember from that video is that this lady was saying that in order for you to move on with your life and to have the things that you want in life, you can't talk about the past. The more you talk about the past, the more you're not moving on and you're dwelling in the past. So for example, if I keep telling people that, I'm a divorcee, I've been through this and that, or, I'm so bitter about the in-laws, or I'm so bitter about the ex. And every time when people come talk to me and that is all that I talk about, or that I always go back to that or people in the past, how am I going to meet my next partner? How am I going to move on and have the life that I always wanted? If I keep talking about the past, if I keep mentioning about the past is in the past. Although it wasn't a good thing, I have to use what I've experienced as a lesson, a life lesson, learn from it and move on and do better. After watching that video, it makes sense. That's probably why I haven't met, my next partner, because, I'm still dwelling in the past, and throughout my podcast, I keep talking about these people that are like non-irrelevant in my life. I just want to move forward, and like I mentioned, whatever happened in the past, it happened. It taught me a lesson. It taught me to have more self-love. And from there, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know where I want to take my podcast to. The purpose now of creating this podcast moving forward. I want to, talk to you guys about, self-love, loving yourself while you're single. It doesn't matter if you're single or not, but as an individual, if you're married, you're in a relationship, or if you're single, I just wanted to talk to you guys about learning to love yourself, because I've done that and I am continuing to pour love to myself. And I believe that in order for you to have a successful life in the life that you want, you have to take care of yourself. And I get that, I've talked to so many people, so many single people, men and women, and I've seen a pattern where a lot of us are afraid to live on our own, to walk on our own, to be by ourselves, to be alone. It's because, we do value families, and that's just part of our culture, and that's just part of who we are. But at the same time, my thinking is that, you can have the best life if you create that boundaries, if you put yourself first. And I get it. I get that you love your parents, you love your siblings, you love your family, and you want to bring someone who is your partner to be part of your family. But at the same time, that's where there is issues in the marriage, because although you are married and you are in a relationship with a partner, and you will want them to be part of your family, but at the end of the day, once you get married, you both are living your life for each other. Your family outside of you are just extended people. I'm not saying to cut them off. I'm just saying that you have to draw the boundaries. And that's something that we as an individual, as a collective, need to learn, is to create boundaries and to pour love to ourselves first before we can love another. I'm not an expert, but I've lived through it for almost 3 years now, where I truly learned to love myself, to learn who I am as a person, what I want, what I don't want, and creating that boundaries for myself, making sure that my mental health is okay. And, I think moving forward, I just want to, talk more about that, talk more about, self-love. What can you do to love yourself? What can you do to know who you are as a person? At the same time, you have to also focus on your mental health as well too. Are you okay? Are you okay to help other people when you're not okay? Like stuff like that. That's where I want to take my podcast into. And also at the same time, as you guys would know, I love me some taboo topics. I love talking about anything that is controversial, maybe some conspiracy theory, stuff like that, stuff that people don't even talk about. Like that is where I also want my podcast to move forward to. And just things that, people don't even talk about, or people don't even want to publicly talk about it. And I guess I'll just be one of those people that is willing to scratch that surface and kind of cut in deep until I get to the bottom of the surface, you know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm not a surface level person. I'm just not. If there's any topics, any taboo topics that you guys want me to talk about, definitely let me know, because I would want to cover that. And of course, if there's any true crimes or news or anything that's happening right now in today's society that can be something of a use in my podcast, I will definitely share it with you guys, okay? And what I think about it too as well. Going back to talking about the past and dwelling in the past, I just don't want to do that anymore. At the end of the day, that was part of the chapter in my life. Maybe I'll write a book about it. Maybe I'll write a journal about it. I don't know. I just feel like I've done that already. I've done that for a year now. I spoke my truth. I'm in a different point in my life. I'm just ready to move on. I've moved on already. Yeah, I just don't have the same energy anymore. I don't have like the desire to talk about the past. And eventually if people do mention it or they want to talk about it, oh yes, I am more comfortable in talking about it in depth. And it's not all about being mad anymore. It's not about being bitter anymore. It's just about growing up as a person, learning what life throws at you. I just want to live a fulfilling life. Although things didn't go the way that I wanted to in the past, overall I think of it as like a lesson that I need to learn. When I think about it, people always say that, did you really love that person? Or were you just with this person because either was using this person or it just felt comfortable or whatever your reason was, right? I had to think about it and I had to ask myself, did I really truly love Lost Boy? And, I do have to say, yes, I did. But I just felt like, I think throughout our relationship, during and after, once it ended, it taught me that I needed to learn how to love myself. And I felt like the way that I loved Lost Boy, it just wasn't the way that he needed to be loved. And I think that was just my way of wanting him to love me. But when I think about it, I didn't really know what kind of love I wanted from him. And even though, I loved him the way that I thought I could have loved him, it just didn't fit the way that he wanted to be loved, and communication wasn't there. And so we couldn't really, talk about these deep stuff that needed to be talked about. And so I realized that yes, even though I did love Lost Boy truly deeply in my heart, but at the end of the day, we just weren't compatible and we just weren't for each other. And, to this day, I'm not mad or anything like that. I'm just more grateful that he came into my life and he taught me a lesson to, I just needed to start loving myself, find myself. I do notice that a lot of us women, we tend to lose ourselves. We tend to lose our identity to our men, to our partner. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, but if you're those type of people that change yourself because of your partner, that's not good though. And I realized that, if I get to my next relationship, I still want to be myself. I still want to be who I am. At the same time, if the person that I'm with adds to my life, then that's even better. Although we are together, if I have to change to better myself and to better our relationship, then I would definitely do that. Don't just change because this person is forcing you to be someone that you're not. And you have to voice your opinion too. And I think that's one of the downfall in the relationship, is that being that this was my first relationship, I wanted to do things for him and with him. And there just wasn't any space for me to be me. Like, I stopped doing my nail stuff. I stopped going to nail school. It was just more just catering to my husband, and that's it. But you guys, it's more than that though. And I wish that, our parents could have taught us that. I wish that there could have been like resources out there to help us who is new in this marriage to realize that it's just more than just taking care of a man. It's more than just taking care of your kids. Like, you have to put yourself first too. That is something that I want to tell and teach. It doesn't matter if you're a man or female, that, you got to start loving yourself. Even though you're in a relationship, you still have to make sure that you're okay. And if you're not okay, then how are you able to wake up every morning and take care of your partner or your kids? You got to make sure that your mental mindset, your mental health is good. And if it's not, then there's just no point. I know I'm like scattering here and there, but I just wanted to just talk to you guys about what I'm feeling right now. And currently, I am blessed with the life that I have now. I am content. I'm grateful for what I've gone through and what I've been through. I'm just a type of person where I just take things and, take it in and make it into something great. Whatever things that come in my life, I don't want it to be anything that's negative. I do believe that the things that I went through happened for a reason, even though it didn't go in my favor. I do believe that God will not allow, or God wouldn't put you in a situation where you cannot handle. I'm grateful for what I've gone through and what I have been working on to turn it into something positive. A lot of times when people go through shitty things in life, they turn it into into like a negative thing, and that's just not me, you guys. I don't want to be mad at people. I don't want to be disappointed in other people. I don't want to turn to things that will harm me, either mentally, physically, spiritually, or whatever it is. Like, I don't know, maybe that I'm just one of those people that just want good in my life, that wants to see positive things in my life, even though I've been through shit. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people out in the world that have experienced even worse things. For those who have experienced like the worst and like went through so much shit in your life, but you came out of it, please reach out to me. Let me know so that I can share your story. Maybe, who knows? Maybe you'll find somebody, or maybe your story can encourage others to turn their life around. And for them to know that, they're not alone in this. I just don't want you guys to turn your past into something bad, or if you're still living in the past. Whatever happens in the past, don't let that stop you from moving forward. Like, I don't want anything that happened to me in the past to stop me from being the best version that I can be. Although, it hurts to go through all of that. And some of you guys may be angry. Some of you guys might be resentful. But the moment when you can master your emotion and take control of how you feel and what you do in your life, that's when you have won in life. I'm still learning. I am still working on it. Yeah, life has been really good for me. I will want to take all of you guys in this road of mine and show you guys what good your life can be if you do your healing, if you work on yourself, you start pouring love to yourself. Like, it's just a good feeling. And, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, when you're by yourself, you're alone, and you're in your own head, yes, you tend to overthink, and you tend to have, like, different scenarios in your head. But, you do go on this roller coaster ride of emotions. Sometimes your days are good, sometimes they're not good. Overall, I'm just letting you guys know, I just don't want to live in the past anymore. I just don't want it to define me. I want to move forward. In order for me to attract a new partner, to attract what is meant to be in my life, to live a life of abundance, I have to tell myself I am deserving of anything that I want in life. And for me to just stop talking about the past, because I know it's hard. I know that it is hard to not think about the past and talk about the past. And it's good to talk about the past, If you are so the type of person that when you talk about the past and you're so mad and you're so angry about it, you're not over it, which is fine. You take your time when it comes to it. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to harm other people, or you're going to involve other people in your life because you're not over your past. Yeah, I'm just ready, and I'm just telling the universe, I just want to move on, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, this episode may be short. It's not your usual long episode, but, I tend to just ramble on, and sometimes I'm reading from a script, sometimes I'm not. But if I tend to repeat myself, or if I'm just saying whatever is on my mind, do not mind me, okay? I'm just speaking to you guys as if I'm just talking to you guys face to face. But overall, this episode is going to be super short. Again, let's not dwell in the past. Let's move forward, make our past as a life lesson to learn, to not repeat again. Take it as a life lesson for us to learn so that we can do better for the next. And let's live a positive, healthy life. Let's be optimistic. Start loving yourself. Let's start working on our mental health. And you guys, I just cannot wait to start talking about like the good stuff. I hope that you guys continue to support me and to listen to me. I may be boring. I may not be interesting. This podcast might not be for you guys. This is the real, raw truth of the mind of a woman who's lived life and who is willing to share those deep, dark taboo or deep, dark experiences that people don't talk about in public. Come on, you guys. It's like 2020. We're in 2023 now. We should start talking about these things. Start bringing awareness so that people know that things like this exist. But yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for listening. And like I always tell you guys, and like I want to mention to you guys as always, let's move forward. Let's become better people. Not for anybody else, but for ourselves. So before I end this episode, I do want to share a poem. It's been a minute since I shared a poem, but for those who are writers who would want me to read any poems that you've written, please let me know so that I can share this on my podcast. And if you have any social media that you would want to share as well, let me know so that I can also put in the description so that my listeners and followers can take a read on the work that you have written so far. This is just a random poem that I just searched on Google. And this is written by June Keelam in the year 2005. The title is called Past, Present, Future. And it says, our past we can't recapture. It's over and it's done. No way to recover time. All those days are gone. No amount of coloring, painting with brighter hues can change the ways things happened. No way to make it true. No use fretting over regretting bygone days. No need to get entangled in memory's purple haze, or caught up in unraveling or of hoping we could do things that didn't go the way that we would want them to. The future is uncertain. No way for us to see the things tomorrow's holding for you or for me. Now is what's obtainable. Just moments here to share. The future comes so quickly, unseen but waiting there. Seize the present moments. Grab all we can contain. Our futures are elusive. Our past we cannot change. And that is it, you guys. I know this is a very short episode. I think once I get better at getting to the point, and not rambling so much, then my episode will be a lot shorter so that for those who doesn't like longer episode, then you guys will appreciate the shorter ones. But as always, I do post mini episode as well too. They are only 10 to 15 minutes. But other than that, I miss you guys dearly. I would definitely push out a lot more topics, some interesting topics. There's a couple of them that's in my mind that I want to mention to you guys and put on this podcast. If you have any topics that you guys want me to cover or just questions you have for me, definitely email me or write a comment or message me via Facebook as well, and I will reach out to you guys and I will take your ideas into consideration. But without further ado, this is the end of the episode, and thanks to those who have been listening from the beginning and has been supporting me. For those who are very vocal, writing comments, or as silent viewers or silent supporters, I appreciate you guys dearly. And other than that, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye!